Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Dr. Laurie Davis, and you're listening to and watching the Today Show, our Wednesday edition, our Wednesday episode, Wednesday, all about wellness. And joining me a little bit later in the show is Dr. Debbie Love. And Debbie is a black belt in karate. Wow, she's just so passionate about teaching women and girls and anybody really, but particularly our young girls, how to stay safe. So that will be our topic today, our guest today. And we're moving right along. And thank you for your support last week when I was away. Had a beautiful trip to the Great White North and worked with some clients up there at a beautiful lodge and wonderful time that I did have. And wow, the food, everything was terrific. So here today on Wellness Wednesday, also too, just an announcement or two that we are streaming live right now on Laurie Davis Facebook page, my two YouTube channels, Laurie Davis Show Host and 5 Minutes to No Limits. Those two YouTube channels carry us live. The Disability Channel, our home network. Also, we are partnered with Your Home TV, and a big shout out to them who brought us into the United States, which has expanded our numbers exponentially. So we thank you for that and appreciate the Disability Channel out of Toronto, Canada, for hosting uh, my show 5 days a week called The Today Show. On Monday, we do self-care, empowerment, self-improvement. Tuesdays, we do finance education with Dr. Ramin Modiri. Wednesday is wellness, and we usually have a guest who's focused on our wellness, and that's why I love to have Debbie Love on the show today because she is all about helping us to stay safe, which we need for wellness. I mean, if we're not safe, we're not well, that's for sure. Thursdays, we feature specialized communities. So the Indigenous community, the veterans community, the disability community. And then Friday is sort of up for grabs, and we showcase authors, musicians, entertainers, anybody who's making a difference in the world. So Friday's kind of our fun day because a lot of times our topics can be pretty heavy duty. And so we want people to know that we can have fun too. And so Friday's fun day. And then, of course, on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Mountain Time, I co host a show with former NHL hockey player Doug Smith. And that's always a fun show because we feature athletes and people who've been involved in the NHL. And usually, though, the topics end up being about personal things and rather than the professional stuff. So it's really fun to do that show. And that's our lineup of shows from where I'm sitting anyway. And excuse me, um, just bringing you up to speed if you're new to the show. The only thing we ask of our viewers is that you actually share the show. And when you see it on Facebook, share it to your Facebook page because, we have a lot of very incredible people who come on the show, and you never know when they might say something that could change somebody else's life. And this is the whole purpose of our broadcasts to bring good news, great news, helpful news, because we're here to make a difference and to help each other. And so that's our main focus and purpose. So you'll meet all kinds of beautiful people who may have an answer for you. So reach out. So I'm just going to take a little 30-second break, and this would be when I would announce that on Monday, I'm meeting with our sales department, and we are going to move forward in our new advertising sponsorship program. It's really affordable. And if you'd like to have an advertisement on any of our shows, all 5 of the Today Show or the Press Box on Tuesdays, then please feel free to contact us. And I'll put my contact information up there throughout the show. So if that's something that you'd love to do, we're here for that. So this is when we might focus and showcase you. So this is a 30-second sample of how much do you think you could say in 30 seconds? Actually, you can say quite a bit when you think about it. So this is how, when I'm waiting for these snowflakes to disappear as they float into the sky, I'm envisioning somebody's product, program, service, event, cause being showcased in 30 seconds. So here we go. This is what it would look like. 30 seconds. And while we're doing this, I'm going to bring our guest in, Debbie Love. She's backstage.
The secret's out, my nails are chewed, my lungs have gone from yelling at you. This book's been read, the contents erased, memories of you have drowned out without a trace, and what you wrote on the mirror left me in tears. A note on the doorway tore up our last 5 years. So I walked out the door and down the lane. I never waved goodbye as I walked away.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Today Show with your host here, Dr. Laurie Davis, and welcoming our guest, Dr. Debbie Love is joining us this morning. And welcome to the show, Debbie.
Hello, thank you, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And today is Wellness Wednesday, Debbie. And I know that what you have to share, whatever that's going to be, can contribute to our safety. So let's just talk about that word safety and why that should be a priority. You know, as a senior now, with an older husband even, safety has also almost become more important than health. In other words, you can be healthy, but if you're not safe, well, so much for that. So I'm always conscious of, not leaving anything on the stairs because somebody could fall over it, or keeping the dog out of the way in case I trip over him. And so safety seems to be in my zone right now. So what does that mean for you, Debbie, for us to be safe?
When I think about our safety, I think about the fact that 1 in 3 women are sexually assaulted in their lifetime. And if that had been even an estimate, like cars in a neighborhood that had been stolen, or in a parking lot, they would have armed guards sitting in that parking lot waiting for these people to come. And the thing is we don't do anything, most of us, to learn what to watch for. And we can watch for things like the dog not getting in the way, but we can't watch for somebody who might have been following us or had that eye on us. And we have to use that intuition and those things that we were born with. And so I mainly think about, I start out thinking about kids because of my past and a lot of women's past that we just don't even talk about. So, that's what I think. I think that self-defense needs to be in schools.
Mm-hmm. Very good. So tell us a little bit about your credentials and your credibility, a bit about your professional training, and, to bring people up to speed who have not met you yet, because you're a friend of mine and we talk and you've been on our shows before, but, this is a whole new ball game now. And a lot of people will not ever have met you that are going to see you today. So let's bring everybody up to speed on your credibility and your credentials, how you got, what you've accomplished professionally.
Well, it all starts with, I guess, my why. Why do I do this? And I know you've heard this so many times, but It's because back in the late 80s in Atlanta, Georgia, which is where I lived, my cousin made a simple mistake, a stupid mistake, but we've all made it, going home on a wing and a prayer that we don't run out of gas. And she did. And living in one of the most, the wealthiest neighborhood in Atlanta, she ran out 2 miles from her home and met up with some bad folks. And not met up. She did try to avoid. She did everything right from what I could tell from the transcripts. But she ran out of gas. She was my size, 4'11" and 95 pounds, but athletic. And if she couldn't get away, I couldn't get away. There were two people who got her, and it took a very, very long time, 13 months, to find her remains. And that is what broke me. That is what it was, going and visiting her dad, my uncle. And the way he would hug me and hold me, I knew he was thinking of her. Exactly the same. So that got me going to self-defense class. I spent a lot of money going to self-defense classes. And what I ended up realizing, that they couldn't help me. They were large men. And they could grab both of my wrists in one hand. Easy grip. And I couldn't grab a big guy's wrist in one hand. No way. One wrist. So I realized, they can't teach me anything. Their arms are long. They were big. I am tiny. So I had to find a way that a small person, what we could do in any such situation I could come up with, how a smaller person that weighs a little could get away. And that's what I have spent my time doing. I started training in martial arts over 25 years ago because I wanted to learn what they knew. There was one short sensei that came into our dojo one day, and he was teaching my little boy, who's 5'3", as a full-grown adult. So you see, he got my genes. But he showed him how to manipulate something to make it useful for somebody shorter and with smaller hands. So I went, boom, that's it. So I put on a gi the next day. I bought a gi and a belt and the whitest belt. The uniform is a gi. I'm sorry. And I started training, and I didn't miss a class for 25 years. And I still train. It's just now on Zoom because I moved and they've made provisions for me. But now I take everything and break it down to little people size. What would we do if? Now, all the martial arts training in the world isn't going to help you if you don't have really very, very good teachers who know why you're there. And mine did. It took me 5-6 years to become a black belt or something like that. I don't remember. But the first question I asked once I got that black belt was, how could she have gotten away? And the interesting thing about how she could have gotten away was, we heard through court transcripts how she was being held. So if I may, she was being held. I'm going to stand up a minute. You know me, Laurie. She was being held from the back, but her hand, they had wrapped around her hands, right? I mean, around her arms. And he was lifted her up from behind. So she's just wiggling. That's all she could do was wiggle. Well, I don't need to tell you what happened after that, but how could she have gotten away from that position? So my sensei said, okay, Deb, let's do it. So he picked me up from behind, and I'm doing just probably what she was doing. I'm wiggling. I can't get away. And he goes, Debbie, where's your head? I went, Sensei, this, with all due respect, this is not time to be making jokes. And he said, no, literally, where's your head? Well, his nose was directly behind my head. Now, my senseis came in all different sizes. There was a tall, medium, and large. And I got the tallest one to pick me up. It worked the same way. If you're picked up from behind, a smaller person is picked up from behind by somebody taller. When they lift you up, the back of your head is going to be right in line with their nose.
Right.
Boom.
Oh, wow.
And I could have been wiggling there for 5 hours. I would not have come up with it. I would have been trying to kick, which I couldn't do. I would have been trying anything. I would have never thought of it. And how simple. It's just knowing.
Right.
So that's when I learned I was certainly training in the right place. It's good to have a short sensei. Little short Jewish guy. He's a very good friend of mine. I'm a Jew, so I can say that. But they do come as they are shorter. Like I said, my son is 5'3". But it was enlightening. So, and it's for everything that we did in our martial arts, because my senseis knew why I was there. They would tell me what I needed to know, even sometimes without me even asking. They would say, now when you're short, it's not going to work to try to take somebody's arms back like that because you're not tall enough. You need to go up and under and take their arms up this way, not back. You're not big enough. But if you go up from the bottom like this, I don't know if I'm demonstrating it well, but if I had a partner here, I could. But it works every time. You're just messing up their wrists. And so anyway, it's about knowing the little things you can do. And that little thing that night, because there were 2 men with my cousin Julie, I don't know how, getting rid of one would have worked for the second guy too. But that would have gotten her out of that situation.
Right.
Being lifted up from behind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's these little things that we
parents how to coach their daughters when they go out on that first date. I mean, who even thinks about that? And also safety when you're hiring a babysitter. She said, we scrutinize buying a blender more than we do hiring a babysitter. So when she gets back here, we'll proceed with some of those scenarios for you today here on the Today Show, Wellness Wednesday, featuring Dr. Debbie Love from the beautiful Coachella Valley, California. I've been there. It's amazing, but it's hot today. All right, here we go for a 30-second break. And this is where if you have a book or a product or something you'd like to have showcased on the Today Show, we have a heck of a deal that we're coming out with on Monday to support anybody who would like to be featured on the show, not only just as a guest, because that doesn't cost anything to be here as a guest, but if you have a product you'd like to advertise throughout our shows. And here's just a sample of how long 30 seconds actually is, and you can say a lot in 30 seconds.
Playing out in the world with all the crime and violence, they're always being observed. Thank God I was an 80s child. Gen X, we were pretty wild, riding our bikes all over town, staying out after the sun went down, at the mall with all our friends, in the arcade till our money was spent. Whereabouts sometimes unknown, didn't need no cell phone. We pick crops all day, collect our pay, head to the record store for a while, thinking about the fun we had. I thank God I was an 80s child. Sitting at home watching Stranger Things, the boys turned to me. Dad, were things really better back then? Was it as fun as it's made out to be? I said, with 80s music, movies, and really cool TV shows, it made us go out.
Welcome back, everyone. You're watching the Today Show here on the Disability Channel. And today, Wellness Wednesday, and we're featuring our special guest, Dr. Debbie Love, from the Coachella Valley in sunny California, where it's hot, hot, hot. And she's here to share with us, first of all, why she decided to become a self-defense expert. She has her black belt in karate. She weighs about 100 pounds. She's not even 5 feet tall, I don't think. But I wouldn't want to mess with her, if you know what I'm saying. And size has nothing to do with it. It's just knowing how to use the right body parts to protect yourself and defend yourself. And I know that Debbie is particularly passionate about working with young women, teaching our girls how to stay safe. I was shocked by her statistic. 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted at least once in their lifetime. Wow. I didn't know it was that high, but I guess I suspected that based on the work that I do. That certainly is revealing to me as well. So I know what I know about self-defense compared to Debbie, we could put in a thimble. So I'm not going to act like the expert and that I can give you the advice or anything else. But if we have viewers today, why don't you just acknowledge us by letting us know who you are if you're watching on Facebook, or if you're watching on Facebook, we can put your comments up on the screen. So that's always a good way to go. And I see we do have some viewers this morning. So what do you have to say for yourselves out there, ladies and gentlemen? If you're watching today and you're able to put a comment up there, that would be awesome. So also to contact Debbie, here's her email, and you can contact her by email because she actually does private sessions online. She also does groups. She loves to go into schools and talk to groups of people, especially our young women. That's something that she's really passionate about doing. And working with parents who are concerned about the safety of their children. But of course, with COVID, learning how to do these things online became important, and she's been able to successfully do that. So if you want to speak with her, there's her info. And if you're interested in any of our products, programs, and services, because you know we have lots of them by now, we have over 1,000 workshops that we share with people to support them with their trauma, their healing, their learning, their personal and professional development. And we have workshops for adults, youth, and young children. A lot of people don't know that. And we work in very small groups. We've been working online since 2002. So we've been working virtually for 22 years. Wow, when I think about that. And so we're very savvy in doing that and practiced up for sure. And let's see, what else did I want to share? Oh, yes, if you're interested in advertising, then please just use those same numbers to contact me, or email me if you'd like to get an advertising package so that you can look it over and see what might be in that for you. And right now, some of our episodes are getting like 20,000 viewers. So that's 20,000 people who would know about you that maybe don't know about you right now. So I would encourage anybody who's interested to get a hold of me, and we'll certainly do a personal call around that. Let's see, what else do we have to say? Oh, if you want to connect to our shows on home TV, what happens is they pick a couple of shows a week that are really inspirational or valuable, and because of their business, their big business, we get to be on there. But if you go into this URL, you'll see some of our shows in there that have been published and put up there. TDC-Yourhometv.com, and that's where you can access the shows on your home TV. And recently we were invited by Cogeco, which is a huge service provider in the province of Ontario, And we're going to be doing a 22-minute show once a week just for their channel because they have seen our work and love what we do and want to be part of it. So we've been very blessed with all of the partners that have come on board over the past couple of months, and our numbers are growing by leaps and bounds. And I would ask you too, if you come into Facebook or YouTube and you're watching, it's a really great idea to leave a comment. If it's YouTube, subscribe to the channel because these things all help our viewership. And one of the things that I know about our shows, there's three things that make a great show. Number one, content. We have so much rich content. Like today, you get to talk with a black belt in karate. Like, really? A woman who had to compromise safety because of her size and to find the people who could mentor her. The content is really rich every single day. We have enough content we could broadcast for 10 years and not run out of material. And that's if we never had a guest. So content. Number two, it's all about you. You watching the show, you coming on and being a guest. It's all about that. Introducing other people to other people. And that's such a joy to do that. And I love doing that. And then the third thing is to support our shows through sponsors, donations, advertising, because of course it costs money to operate. And so that's really important for the show to stay on the air. And you all know that when you look at an ad at the last NHL playoff hockey game, what do you suppose it cost for an ad? Oh my goodness sakes. Mm-hmm. So even our organized sports need advertisers. All right. I don't see Debbie back here yet, so I'm just going to keep talking. And maybe there's somebody that's watching that will come on and talk with me. Just even asking, how are we? And how are we doing? Or what's the latest and greatest? I could give a weather report. It's raining here in Drayton Valley, Alberta today. But we're so happy about that because this time last year, we were under siege with the wildfires. They were out of control. There were 150 fires all burning at the same time. And help had to come in from outside the province and the country. And it was just a tragic time this time last year. So we're very blessed this year to see we've had a fair amount of rain over the spring. And so that has helped keep things moist, which keeps those fires away. One of the things anyway. And really feeling grateful for that rain today. And triple digit hot in California, I'm thinking. So I see a message here from Debbie. Let's see what's going on. Maybe she can come in on her phone. That would be cool. I'm going to suggest that she use her phone. She had to reboot her computer. Don't you love it when technology doesn't work? Yesterday on one of my shows, we had some technology issues, but that happens, and we just have to be okay with it and regroup, reboot, redo whatever. That's important. So she'll be along shortly. That's great. And let's see, who else? What else? Whew. Any other announcements? Something else we do that you may be of interest to you. Every 3 months we host an event called the Recovery and Performance Summit. And it's a weekend. It's 3 days in a row. So you can come in at your leisure. We have 18 speakers who speak for 45 minutes. And you can come in and listen to one speaker, or you can listen to all 18 speakers. We have giveaways. Every speaker donates a gift, and we draw for the gifts after each speaker. The cost is $25, and you get to come for all 3 days, or like I said earlier, just one speaker. And so the speakers, they spend the first 15 minutes talking about a situation from which they had to recover. The second 15 minutes is how they got out of that situation. And then the third 15 minutes is what does their life look like today? So that's a beautiful event. And our next one is September 5th, 6th, and 7th, I believe. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's, Virginia says the summits are amazing. This is Virginia Clark. She's one of our regular speakers at the summit. And people come in from all over the world. It's on Zoom. So it's a 3-day event. And we're really, Dr. Ramin Modiri and I host that. And it's a beautiful time. And people really love it and enjoy it. So we'll be putting it out there that we're looking for some speakers. We like to keep around 9 speakers who've already been speaking at the summit. And then we like to add 9 new speakers each time, so that this is a great platform if you want to practice your speaking skills. If it's something that you'd like to expand on, is to tell your story, it's a wonderful platform in which to do that. So we're looking forward to our next one. We've done 3 already. And this time I'm going to look for a business to sponsor the summit because it's great exposure. People come from all over to participate and to attend. So it's a wonderful event that we shall continue to do for sure. Let me see now. I heard a little ding here. Let's see what's going on with Dr. Debbie Love, our guest today. She was on earlier having some technology challenges, which can happen. Okay, she's trying to get in on her phone. Okay. All right. And when you're doing a show like this, patience is of the utmost importance. And that's for sure. Well, let's talk a little bit about the Disability Channel, our mother channel. You know, this channel has been in existence for about 10 years. And it's been around. And the purpose of the Disability Channel initially was to support the disabled community by providing broadcasting training to veterans and, who came back from perhaps overseas or their deployment and they were injured, but not specifically always veterans, but that was the beginning of it. And we're very big on supporting those special communities so that they could be a part of what we do and who we are. Now, Kathy, let's see what she has to say. Had trouble finding the original source. Oh, guess you're technically challenged sometimes. Well, that's good to know, Kathy, because now I don't feel so alone in the world. And Kathy is our admin backup editor, bells and whistles, and she does a lot of support work for the channel, and she hardly ever misses a show. So Kathy, thank you for your support, as always. Just staying in touch with my guest here. She's still working on it. She'll be back. As soon as she's here, I'll pop her in. In the meantime, we're just catching up on, other information. So, Kathy, if there's anything else that I should say or we want to put up about the Disability Channel, I believe you were part of one of the graduating classes. Am I correct in that? That you were part of that training program, and now you work for the Disability Channel? Because actually, 85% of our students who take their media training get jobs. We have a very high, and this is all supported by the federal government and the provincial government as well. So we're very blessed that way too, to have that funding so that people can come in and get that retraining because maybe they're not able to go back to their regular jobs. And Kathy said, yes, last summer you took the course. Awesome. Excellent. And you're very good at what you do. That is for sure. For sure. That's amazing. Also, too, the thing that I'm enjoying about being part of the Disability Channel is that we also have a career opportunity in our business, in that we like to certify other people who would be interested in facilitating our workshops. And we have over 1,000 workshops. And it's, it takes time to train people, to get them in the field so that they can have their own home-based business delivering our workshops. And Kathy's sharing the Ontario government may pay you to take the course too. So I don't know if she's referring to me or what, but our viewers perhaps is who's Kathy referring to. So yeah, and so we've always had a career opportunity attached to our work in the world, and we own and operate a private training company, and we've developed over 1,000 workshops to support people with their healing, their learning, their personal and professional development. So we've done everything from sales training to how to have a powerful podcast. We do that training. If you're thinking about doing a podcast, or you'd like to do one, but you're a little shy, or you're not sure about how to be professional, we deliver workshops on how to do that, because we've been virtual for so many years. We support couples. If there's trouble in paradise, we have the most amazing couples program, 12 workshops, get your marriage back on track. We work with youth. We have 40 workshops for teenagers, 1 hour a week for 10 weeks. And then if they really enjoy that, they can come back and take another 10 weeks, and for a total of 40 workshops. Same with adults. We also have a fantastic retreat called Reclaiming My Self-Worth. I just did that last week when I was up north with 7 clients from an HR and finance department. And that helps us with cleaning up, any leftover guck from our trauma, whatever. And Virginia's here today, and Virginia is a colleague of mine and one of our facilitators, and she does art therapy for people who are struggling with addictions. We have so much to offer. You just can't even believe it. We have 40 workshops in finance, and then we have an additional 100 workshops in finance. And Dr. Ramin Modiri and I host that twice a week. We have 100 workshops in entrepreneurship, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a professional entrepreneur. I had my first business when I was 12. So I've been an entrepreneur for over 60 years now. And that happened with the fact that when I was 12, my dad kind of got the golden handshake from the company he was working for. And back in those days, there were no severance packages or compensation. So I just went to my dad and I just said, I could help. And he said, well, what could you do? I was 12. And I said, well, I can babysit, I can walk a dog, I can mow grass. So he sat at the table with me and helped me make these homemade flyers with colored pencils. And we put them in every mailbox on my street. And within a very short time, I had all the babysitting on my street because I was reliable. Plus, my parents were right there if there was an emergency. And so, it was just tremendous. And even after my dad got back to work shortly after that and didn't need my help, I continued to be entrepreneurial that way and always had some kind of business on the side. Even when I was teaching school, I had a catering business that I did on the weekends and made lunches for staff through the week. And I always had to have my hand in something. So, but I have been a full-time self-employed entrepreneur now for 40 years. 1984, I retired from teaching, and I have been self-employed ever since. We are very diverse. Yes, we are, Virginia. We absolutely are. And by the way, all my facilitators, many of them are credentialed, but they all have credibility. And what do we mean by that? Well, if they're talking to you about addictions, it's because they have that experience. If they're sharing ways for you to parent your children, because we have 2 parenting programs, that's because they've been a parent. They have to be a parent in order to facilitate. So the credibility is there in our workshop leaders. Now, Kathy had a question. What about phobias? Well, absolutely. A phobia is an intense form of fear. So let's say I have a phobia against spiders, or I have a phobia, I can't sleep in the dark, or is that what you're referring to, Kathy? Phobias are an intensified form of fear. So it usually comes from having had a negative experience of some kind. And also, fear and phobias can be inherited. Um, our parents can impose those phobias on us. So, for example, if my mom is afraid of spiders, chances are I am. Or I may have, that's what I mean, I may have inherited the phobia, and it's not really based on anything that had happened to me. It's just because it happened to someone else, and then I absorbed that. So definitely, we have all kinds of techniques and ways for people to overcome those fears, most definitely. Once we know about them and what they're about, and where we discover where they may be coming from, why you have it in the first place, because that's always the lesson. It's not what we do or what's going on. It's the why. Like Debbie said earlier when she arrived, it's the why. And we'll have her back, by the way. Oh, what? We'll have her back, by the way, I just said. And here she is. Wowzers. All right, Debbie, you're on. And you know what I want you to talk about next? Because our time is short.
Yes.
I want you to share with our viewers why an elbow is such an important part of our body. How can we use that elbow?
Not just the elbow. There's a secret thing also with the elbow. How can we? Our elbows can go backwards. So somebody grabs you from behind, as we were saying. You simply, if you want to get them in the gut or the ribs, it's backwards here. And you do it with as much motion, but it's not necessarily this little elbow bone that you use. You use all whatever here is or here. So don't think you have to hit somebody with that little bone right there. But there are several elbows. So you've got the low one that I just showed you right here. Okay. Side. If they're up behind you, there's up. Then if they're in front of you, there's here going across their face. Boom. Or here. And then there is going upwards that would go under the chin. Right up here. But you always have to go in the middle. If you practice this, make sure you practice by turning your body, because then you'll miss them. If you're standing right in front of me, I'm going to miss you. So I want to make sure I turn so that I hit you. And then the another one is, along with the side one, if you do miss them or barely tap them, there's always the route back. Boom. So you here, and then that one is the killer. That one's boom. There's a last one, which if they're leaning down because maybe you got to the groin area and they're doing this on the back of the neck while they're trying to this on the back of the neck will that'll take them down, knock them out. But the surprise thing that we have, because everything with women is close in, it's not going to be that we're fighting at a distance. We're going to be close in. So somebody's going to be messing with us as a sexual assault kind of a thing. Is the back of the hand right here, this wrist bone right here. one of the hardest bones you got. And just a little flick with this, if it's at a sensitive area, whether it's the jaw or the groin or anywhere you can find a pressure point, if you can hit them with this, again, it is hard, it is strong. I mean, I do push-ups on this thing sometimes, but your fingers are fabulous for things. But also, if you carry something, and I know certain things are not legal in Canada, like my little stun guns that look like lipstick. For our American folk, these things are awesome. Flashlight, and that sound would have probably freaked out the dog that lives here, and anything that could have hurt it in the neighborhood. Coyotes, that sound will make them run away. But let's get to the legal stuff. Because I'm doing my own weapons. So I have this. There's two pieces of wood. The little string. Can you see that? This little string keeps it on your hand. But if you can walk with these things in your hand. They feel great in your hand. They can also go on an airplane. They can be in your checked luggage. They can be in your purse. It's just two pieces of wood. Okay. But I've made my own versions of it. So I found this at a Hobby Lobby. It's got little grooves for your hands. At any hobby place, you can get this. It's called it's called a wooden slicker. I have no clue what they use them for. I saw them. I thought, yes, that is a weapon. Where that thing with the rope gave me an inch on either side. So if I strike with this, I've got an inch. I got to be really, really close. So to strike with this thing, I feel like it's dark in here. But with this, I've got double the distance. I found, I'm weird. I found this on the street and I thought, yeah, it feels, again, whatever you carry has to feel good in your hand. So this feels really good in your hand, and would give you more striking power either side. Knitting needles. I got a set of 5 at Hobby Lobby. I just put a Band-Aid, a rubber band around it. This thing would hurt anybody.
Oh, there she goes again. Wow. Well, that was good information. And Kathy, I'll ask about the eyes. That's pepper spray, I think. I have no clue about that. We will have to have her back. I'll book her for next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. I think I have somebody for next week. So, but we'll have Debbie Love back. And unfortunately, it's really, really hot there. And they're having some internet challenges today. Weren't those fantastic ideas? Knitting needles? Like you could keep those in your purse. You wouldn't be able to take those on a plane though. But yes, Debbie sent me one of the beautiful little stun guns, and only to find out I had to return it because they're illegal in Canada. We're not allowed to have them. Yeah. Thought you would pierce the eyes, kind of itchy. Yeah, we're not allowed to carry those. So, okay, we figure out something else. And that's what she did. When I told her, I said, thank you for the gift, but I have to send it back. We're not allowed to have them. I looked it up, and they're illegal in Canada. That's why she knows that, because she gifted one to me, and it was beautiful. It was all pink and blingy, and it looked like a big tube of powder, and I just, you just put it in your purse. So today, all about safety, and safety can expand not only just in the physical aspect of our life, but also in the emotional. And that's the area that we work on. Debbie has been a client of ours and did a lot of good work on herself while she was here doing that. So it's the emotional recovery from trauma and setbacks and fear and feeling insecure and being not feeling good enough. That was a plague that I suffered with for many years, never feeling good enough. And so we work in all of those areas, and we've been in business. By the way, yesterday was our 32nd year in business. In this business of providing educational workshops to support us with our healing, our trauma healing, our personal development, our professional development. And we're so good at what we do that if you have a situation and you need a workshop around that, we can actually create that for you. So it might not even be anything on our roster, but we've got enough material to pull from that we could create something specifically just for you and whatever situation you're struggling with or you want to clean up or get rid of, because these things hold us up. When we're feeling not good enough, or we don't feel like we are pretty enough or smart enough or handsome enough, it holds us up. It holds us back. All right. So I'm just going to say goodbye for today. And yes, thank you, Kathy, 32 years. And for us, for many of our clients now, we've been in business longer than they've been alive. Like my group last week up at the lodge, they were all in their 30s. And there was one guy there, 31. I said, you realize I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. And he was pretty impressed by that. He went, wow. So our workshops are tried, tested, and true, and they work, and they are actually pretty phenomenal. All right. So tomorrow we're going to feature one of our veterans tomorrow who suffered a huge loss when he was serving overseas. And he will be our guest tomorrow, Chance Burrows, a disabled veteran who's going to be on our show tomorrow. So can't wait to learn more about Chance and get to know him even better. So signing off, I'm Dr. Laurie Davis. Thank you for being here today. And we will definitely have Debbie Love back very, very soon because she's a wealth of information. So bye for now.